So I'm beginning from first. So today's my presentation on the paper number 109, Literary Theory and Criticism and Indian Aesthetics, deals with the Natyashastra and the Indian cinema. This is my information, and we will start with the definition given by Bharat Muni about the ras in Natyashastra. Vibhav Anubhav Vyabhichari Sanyogat Ras Nishpati. It is also translated by Schneider. Ras is a cumulative result of Vibhav, Anubhav, and Vyabhichari Bhav. For example, just when various condiments and sauces and herbs and other materials are mixed, a taste is experienced. So, is it with the different bhavs? The sthai bhav becomes a ras. Introduction. According to Indian aesthetics, ras is an essence of performative arts. Natya Shastra is a skeleton of Indian cinema. Euro-American cinema is based on Konstantin Stanislavski's acting method, which says being a character, to be a character, while the Indian cinema says talks about conveying the emotion which is experienced by a writer, which should be conveyed by an actor or a character. Natyashastra and cinema. Bharat Muni, the Indian performance theorist and philosopher, proposed text of performing arts as well as Ras theory, and he is known as the father of performative arts. According to Natyashastra, there one has 8 psychological states, and Bharat believes that a relevant representation of these 8 psychological states makes the spectator or audience realize about their psychological state, and the realization is known as sentiment, which is known as ras. This ras is only an experience, imaginative experience done by a spectator or by an audience. It doesn't harm him or her any other way, but it brings a spiritual freedom and pure joy which purifies the soul. This is the same thing introduced by Aristotle with the definition of catharsis in tragedy. Shant Ras was introduced by Abhinav Gupta as the ninth Ras. It is about bringing a peace after all the Ras is absorbed or felt by audience. Shancher has said the perfect performance, should one occur, would not transmit or express Shantras but allow Shantras to be experienced simultaneously and absolutely by the performers and partakers. Bharat has also given us the process of acting, which are in the 4 steps. First step is experience of the poet. Second step, recreation of this experience in their work. Third step is acting that experience by a character. And the last stage is that experience felt by an actor, felt by audience when the actor is portrayed. According to Stanislavski, then actor should aim at becoming a living, breathing embodiment of a character than just trying to convey emotions. As we discussed, that Indian cinema or Natya Shastra is talking about conveying an emotion of a writer or a poet through the actor or a character, while the Euro American theory is talking about being a character and not expressing anything. Audience or a viewer will read what they want to see. While in Indian cinema, it is conveyed that here you should have empathy. A character is crying and we feel empathy and sympathy. That is created by a character or an actor. 4 kinds of acting are also given by Bharat, that is Angik Abhinay, Vachik Abhinay, Aharya Abhinay, Satvik Abhinay, and Chitra Abhinay. Angik Abhinay is acting through body parts or hands, face. Vachik is through dialogue. Aharya is by looks, makeup, dressing. Satvik Abhinay is representing internal mood and temperament of character through facial expression, the emotions shown of a character through eyes, anger, through the dull eyes, we know about their sadness. That is Satvik Abhinay. And Chitra Abhinay. Chitra Abhinay was later introduced and which talks about the sunrise, sunset, the chitra shown in the drama or cinema through acting. Here we will compare some movies like Slumdog Millionaire, Rang De Basanti, and Coolie, which will reveal the difference between both this theory. Starting with Millionaire, the actor who was performing the character of Dev Malik was Jamal Malik. Sorry, of Dev Patel was Jamal Malik, who was a British actor and who was performing or acting according to the Euro-American theory about being the character and was not working according to the Indian cinema theory, that is transmitting or conveying the emotions. What happened due to that? They missed transmission of the emotions which was required in the story about morbidity, hopelessness, and the last victory in the movie of Dev Patel. That is the primary reason why the character of Jamal Malik is failing, as he is not able to hold the spirit of Indian cinema. Next, Coolie. Coolie movie is we can see two dimensions. One is not following the Rus theory. It is a traditional Desi Indian cinema. In the movie, the character has a dull eye, he is lost, slack-jawed, pale, and he is tortured by the police and is also left out by his beloved. Still, he is not showing any emotions at a very large place. That if we see many movies, if a beloved is lost, there will be a sad song, must be crying, and such scenes are not majorly seen in the Coolie, which seems that the movie is not following the Rus theory. But the actor is Amitabh Bachchan, who is 40 years old in the real life, but he is playing the role of 25 years old, because here emphasis is laid on conveying the emotions rather than embodying the character. So here we can say that Rus theory is followed. Bollywood film is highly dependent on on the nine Ras. Hogan is saying the most common primary ras in Indian cinema are romantic and sorrowful. So Karun Ras and Shringar Ras is seen majorly in Indian cinema and Indian cinema is more around melodrama and romance. Along with this Karun Ras and Shringar Ras, we also see the Veer Ras majorly in the movies. Along with, even if the movie is serious, we in a minor character we do find Hasya Ras and Adbhut Ras also in the Indian cinema. Hogan has also said didactic work in India are no less inclined to use Ras aesthetic than are the works of simple entertainment. Indeed, didactic works over on the empathetic characters of Ras. The creation, sustaining, and enactment of the empathetic feeling is almost invariably central to the works that set out to cultivate a commitment of social ethics on the part of reader and viewer. Here, taking an example of Rang De Basanti as an didactic film. Here we see Ras, Hasya, and Adbhut Ras. Sorry, Veer, Hasya, and Adbhut Ras in the first half. And the second half is about Karun, Bhayanak, or Vibhats Ras. As Rang De Basanti is focusing on the Indian freedom struggle, corruption of politicians, rebel against the colonizers. The aim of the movie was to have a social impact. They want to arouse an empathy feeling in the audience. They want to lead audience towards the birth of rebellious emotions. And today, in a contemporary time, such all the effects are seen in the movie Kashmir Files, where we see that after watching this movie, the rebellious feeling is aroused in the audience. Even if it is a didactic work, it has Bhayanak, Vibhats, and Karun Ras, same as Rang De Basanti. And how here we can compare that how the Indian cinema is attracting the audience and feelings, and they are feeling some feelings or trying to grow some feelings in the audience. Bollywood Bollywood uses music and dance for pleasure and for the pleasure. And this is also the influence taken from the Natyashastra. Natyashastra has given four instruments for the music, that is Tata, in which stringed instruments like Veena is used, Sushira, in which wind-blown instruments like flute is used, then Avanganda, that is percussion instrument. the instruments like tabla, in which we have to strike or needs to be banged. Then a gana, that is cymbals, that is that kartal we generally use. What is the what is the use of music? The music foretells to audience that what is going to happen. If we are watching a movie, one actor is going happily out, and if the music is haunted music or some suspicious music is there in a background score, audience realizes that something bad is going to happen, but the actor doesn't know. This is the role of background score and music in Indian cinema. In Indian cinema, number of dance performances are done are performed. Even in the some are the movies which are more on gambling and all, but there is some item song placed in the, or performed in a movie for shringa, for attracting the audience towards the movie. It is said, it is said by Bharat is writing, it is said dance is occasioned by no specific need. It has come into it has come into use simply because it creates beauty. As dance is loved naturally by almost all people, it is eulogized by being auspicious. It is the source of amusement. So on many occasions, Shiva too was pleased to say perform dance in connection with the singing songs. We also find ras in the Bollywood songs, and I have chosen some songs which are depicting this ras. Like a Shringa ras is depicted in a Piya Tose song, Hasya in Chumme में चवन प्राश, then Bibats दुश्मन ना करे ऐसा करे दोस्त ने वो काम किया है, वीर रस in दंगल, Karun Ras in Naina song from Dangal, Adbhut in Rupaiya song, which is an album song from the show Satyamev Jayate, which was hosted by Amir Khan. Then Gaudra, that is Shiv Tandav Stotra. Then Bayanak from Wo Mere Dhol Na Soon, or that is a haunting song. Then Shant Ras Khulke Jeene Ka Tarika. When I was searching for these songs, I realized that it is my personal interpretation or personal realization that it depends on the individual that which type of rus an individual is finding in a work, in a literary work, in a movie, or in a song. If someone likes, for example, if someone is very fond of South Indian movies, he might be liking fighting. So they might find Veer Ras in South Indian movies. But some must not like that exaggeration in the fighting which are shown in the South Indian movies. And they must find that movies like having Vibhatsaras. So when I was reading for this presentation, I realized that it might depend on individual's choice that which ras they find in any work, movies, or song. In the conclusion, I would like to say that Shancher has also said that ras is a flavor. Taste the sensation one gets when food is perceived, bought within reach, touched, taken into mouth, chewed, mixed, and swallowed. This says that in Indian cinema, movie presents all the ras, and Shant ras is given to audience as a final dessert. This is how the Indian cinema works. These are my works cited. Thank you.
Jill, what is the main feature of Natyashastra?
Natyashastra is the work written by Bharat Muni, which is talking about Ras and how acting features, types of acting, and how acting is done. In a way, we can see that Natya Shastra is giving all basic information or a good information about how cinema should work. And so we find that Indian cinema is so much connected to Natya Shastra. It is giving good It is giving idea for actions and how everything should be pursued in performative arts.
Zil, why was Natyashastra important?
Natyashastra is the work written by Bharat Muni, which is talking about the performative arts. And performative arts is generally used for entertainment, and entertainment is necessary in the life. And Natyashastra is very well supporting entertainment and trying to bring more changes and innovations. So, according to me, Natyashastra is very much important in performative arts and which brings entertainment.